If you set out to write a novel, you'll never finish it. Same with a screenplay. You need to actually have a plan that breaks it down into bite-sized pieces so that you can work through it bit by bit and you can see your progress as you move forward in a way which gives you positive feedback to continue to the next step. Otherwise, you're thinking about 70,000, 100,000 words and you lose hope and you lose faith and you get stuck. See it all the time. Most people do not finish. And so your first job as a new writer especially is to get to the end of your novel. And I'm going to help you out with these 5 steps. The first one is you need to start with free writing. You have a concept, you saw something, you read a story in the newspaper, you read a book, it gave you an idea for a story. Write down everything you can think about that story in an unorganized way. It's just free writing. Don't worry about any kind of organization. Who are the characters you have in mind? What's the world you have in mind? The world rules, the laws, the dynamics of what's happening, the family dynamics, anything that comes to your mind. Just write it. Just get it out of your head. And then your head will fill back up again. Get that out too. Just write it down and then organize it into a world building document that has it in categories. Things like the laws, the rules of magic, the characters, what have you, and then look through that and see what kind of conflicts you have. If you don't have a concept of the core of your story, what your story is about, which is always about a problem, remember, then that's the moment to figure that out. Once you know the conflict and the characters in your story, then you can create a log line. That's step 2. The log line is basically a concentrated form of what the story is about. It's about a alcoholic brewmaster who has to create enough beer for a massive party that's happening for his daughter's wedding without falling off the wagon. Whatever it is, you're combining the task, the problem they have to solve, who they are as a character, and what their core problem is. If you can put a ticking clock in there, even better. Once you've got that, then you move on to a beat sheet. And a beat sheet is breaking down your story into its key component parts. Things like the end of the first act, what pushes them into the second act, what happens at the midpoint, what's the B story, do they meet with a mentor, do they meet with a love interest, and so on. What happens at the second act turning point? You're laying out all those beats in point form notes in order to know how your story will unfold. And then once you know your story is going to unfold, you can connect them together with a story synopsis that's several pages long, maybe 10 pages long, and then you can turn it into chapters. Chapter outlines are super important because it allows you to break down your novel into a series of short stories that are connected by cliffhangers at the end and by problem solutions of the cliffhanger in the beginning of the next act. So there are a bunch of short stories that are connected together by these links, and you write a series of short stories, 2,500 to 4,000 words maybe, and next thing you know, after you've written 25 or 30 of these, you've got a novel.